Happy Friday. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison, here at News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. You made it through the weekend. Hope you managed to stay as cool as you could. And, it is another hot, humid day ahead of us again. And the Saharan dust is also in the atmosphere. So we're going to check in on that weather, check in on the roads if you're headed out, tell you about some of those top stories. You know, it's never a dull moment when it comes to our news happening here and around the world. So we'll get to that. Plus, we have a live guest today, a hearing care expert, to talk about hearing loss prevention and treatment and some of the latest ways to do that are on the market up in a few moments. But we want to get a check of that weather, and Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is over in the Pinpoint Weather Center. And Candace, we talked about the was it the buck moon or the thunder moon, which is very fitting.
Or the thunder moon. So it's the combination of the two. Basically, it's just a really cool full moon. It happens this time of the year. It has to do with the whole buck look as well as the thunder, because
that's when their horns come in, right?
Right, when they're like the full. They're full.
What about the mango moon? Aren't the mangoes ripening? Could it be the mango moon?
Listen, it's a very sore subject right now because yesterday
really?
we're sitting down having dinner. Yeah, a storm came through. We're sitting there having dinner. I see my mango tree that has grown with us since we've lived here. And I'm looking at it. The tree's fine. It's all my pretty mangoes that have all fallen. And I thought to myself, they just fell. Let me finish having dinner, and then I'll go out when the storms are gone. They were all eaten. The squirrels got to them.
Oh my goodness! It's
yes,
the squirrel moon.
There was like 4 of them. Yeah. Listen, if I catch one of those squirrels, I wonder if they have a taste
right now. Yes, they are. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
for your loss.
I think for dinner it's gonna be mango infused squirrel tonight.
I was looking forward to some of these mangoes. I'm mad.
I'm so upset. But there's a couple.
You had the special mango picker already ordered.
Yes, which I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna start picking them. My husband's like, well, it's lightning, so we might not want. I'm like, that's true. So I'll work on that today before the rain comes in. But and I even put them in like these little mesh bags.
Like I can't believe this.
It's unfortunate.
I'm angry. I'm sorry.
So it's funny you mentioned the mango moon. It's fine. I'll get over it eventually. But you know what? Yeah, we had the storms yesterday. We're gonna have the storms again today as we continue to go into the afternoon. But we have a lot more heat and haze still in the forecast. Mm-hmm. We're talking it's steamy and hazy out there. Certainly seeing a lot of that dust still kind of suspended over the air. You can see it in some of our live looks on our cameras. And don't forget, on News 6 Plus, you can also hop around and look at some of our different live cameras out there too. It's always kind of nice if you're just leaving the TV on the background. You can always keep that on too. But as we look here throughout the next few hours, rain chances will start to climb. Rain coverage for today is about 60%, right along I-4 in areas to the west. Tomorrow, rain chances do extend a little more widespread. But the good news is, the best news about it, no new tropical development is expected within the next 2 to 7 days. So we have some tropical waves out there, but nothing too concerning. And the main reason for it is we have so much Saharan dust that is still taking over not only the western side of the Atlantic, but the eastern side as well. It stretches from literally from coast to coast. And that Saharan dust is going to help suppress hurricane activity. It's also going to be bringing us some hazy skies. You probably noticed it a couple of days, for the past couple of days, that haze in the sky. It's also going to be impacting our air quality a little bit. Right now, we're kind of in that moderate range. So if you are a little more sensitive to air quality issues, you might be noticing that. But even with all that Saharan dust, people would think, well, it's dry air, no rain, right? Well, not the case. We still have the sea breezes that are going to be certainly stronger than that Saharan dust, and that's going to kind of kind of break through that dust and allow those scattered storms to develop. We still have a pretty soggy southeast flow, and that's going to continue to keep the chance for rain in the forecast. So this is what it looks like. Still watching for a couple scattered showers developing this morning along I-95, and then that threat starts pushing further inland. So almost kind of a repeat performance of what we dealt with yesterday. Between about 3 and 5 o'clock, some scattered storms will start to develop just along I-4 and just to the west, and then more scattered storms continue to stream further west over Lake and Sumter County, areas of far western Osceola and Seminole County. And then things really start to taper off nicely. Then our rain chances go up a little further. Look at our coverage now compared to Tuesday. Look at what we're looking at. Scattered showers will start to develop a little earlier in the day, more widespread. You can see the reds and the yellows expand a little more. So our coverage for tomorrow goes up to about a 70% as we will be tapping into some deeper tropical moisture. Then on Wednesday, it's going to be the flip side. We're going to start tapping into some drier air, and that will start limiting our rain chances a little further come Wednesday and Thursday. So as we take you here hour by hour, 96 is going to be your high today. Rain chances do increase after about 2-3 o'clock up to about a 60%. But the one thing you cannot beat, you cannot stay out of, is going to be the feels like temperatures. It's still going to be feeling like the triple digits. Now, the good news about this is that it's slightly above average of our normal heat index, but not heat advisory threshold. So that's certainly some good news. And as we get results here, the full 7-day forecast coverage up to about 70% tomorrow. Temperatures will back off a little bit because we'll have more of a chance for some rain and some clouds tomorrow. And then as we continue to move into later on next week, we're holding at 95. If we do really dry things out by the end of the week, we might have to crank up those temperatures a little further if we don't see much rain in the forecast. But again, as of now, tropics are looking good. Our forecast looking very seasonal, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And don't forget, if you are watching us now and you happen to snap a nice photo of the moon this morning, we'd love to see them. I'm going to start showcasing our pinnets more on the morning news and kind of show you what the viewers are seeing out there too.
Yeah, how long does it last? When does the waning begin? Do you know?
I mean, the waning begins pretty quick. I mean, to the
Mm-hmm.
naked eye, you
Mm-hmm.
still have another night or so that it'll still
Okay.
be nice but this morning, I don't know if you
Oh, it's
noticed
so
it, but
crisp. Oh yeah.
it was like a flashlight.
Oh yeah.
Um, at one point I was driving and I thought there was lightning, and I was like, that's weird. I looked at the radar and there wasn't anything out there, and then I realized I was just driving under clouds, and it was just
Peeking
the
through.
shine of the moon peeking through that I
So
kept
bright.
seeing it. Yeah, so
Yes.
it made me confused for a second. But no, but no, the moon's beautiful, and the haze and the sunrises and sunsets might be extra vibrant if you're not dealing with rain at sunset. So make sure to send us all that. Of course, we accept dog and cat pictures too. We always have a special place in our folders here for those
See it,
special
snap
dog.
it, pin it.
And do it, but do it safely, please.
Yes, for sure. All right. Thank you, Candace. See you soon.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. All right. We're going to head out on patrol with Trooper Steve in a little bit, but we're going to check in with him now. He's getting warmed up and ready to go. And you're going back to school.
Man, I never thought I'd be going back to school this early. Um, last time I checked, we were just starting summer, but the year-round thing, Bridget, it's crazy because second and third grade, I went to year-round elementary school over at Waterford Lakes out on the east side
Cool.
of Orange, and we had like a little run-in this morning. My mom loved it. I didn't know the difference, but to always have that kind of a little break here, back to school, little break here, back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Some people understand it. Some people don't like it. Some people just don't know anything about it. But
To
today
me, it
we're going to
seems more like the
focus,
normal flow of life anyway. There's a little bit of work, a little
well,
break here.
especially
Hmm.
someone as busy as you, Bridget. You're not only, you have work, you're involved in the community and stuff. Our work doesn't get a break. It's always constant. It doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. So I would imagine it could be
It
helpful to
could
some
work.
parents. So
Hmm.
today, I'm going to make a nice trip, 10 a.m., clickorlando.com. I'll be up in Marion County talking school safety, things we should be aware of, drive around some of the school zones and stuff like that, just as an early reminder, because in about 3.5 weeks,
Right.
Everybody else joins. So that's going to happen today at clickorlando.com, the app, and on News 6 Plus.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to hear from everyone out there and the excitement of starting this pilot program there.
It should be good. I would like to see, honestly, the opinions of the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a teacher perspective on that, just because we hear from the parents a lot. We know that they
Mm-hmm.
deal with a lot, but our teachers are on the forefront of
Mm-hmm.
this. And really like to know how their lifestyle either changes, gets better, or worse. Just a perspective. It's something maybe we don't hear often, is their side of a year-round school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we'll have to check back
So,
this time next year too, sort of get the full
yeah, right. To
review.
see if
But
everyone's I wonder if the black bags will go away from some folks because they get used to a better schedule or not. I don't
mm-hmm.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. Let's check out on the roads. DOT cam right now, State Road 91, which is the Florida Turnpike at the 249, puts you close to Osceola. Not too bad out there. What is pretty thick is this. Eastbound I-4 in the attractions, both Champions Gate and 535. We are seeing some heavy traffic this morning. So 36 to 40 minutes in the red from Champions Gate to get to downtown. Got to be careful out there, please. Earlier vehicle fire really messed us and slowed us down here. I-4 Central Florida Parkway, mix that with also a construction zone. Just need to be careful this morning. No major slowdowns out there. Obstructions, there are the slowdowns, but nothing that's going to linger and maintain this. Everyone just needs to be careful this morning. No crashes out in Champions Gate or Osceola Parkway, just super, super slow. Four Corners, if you're still lingering and hanging out with us from out of town, things nice and clear out here. It is the summer. Just because we're going to year-round school doesn't mean everybody else is. So if you're visiting us this morning, Four Corners area, Earlo Bronson Memorial, nice and clear. Osceola Parkway, seeing those eastbound slowdowns as you make your way towards the turnpike. But outside of that, Bridgett, we're not doing too bad. You can see we're jumping around a little bit here. West 408, West Pine Hills area, no crashes. So what we're dealing with this morning is mostly all routine, Bridgett. As long as people take it nice and easy, we'll make it through this Monday. And hopefully Marion, I believe Brevard is going to the all-round school. So we'll take it easy. We'll do some reminders today, get people back into the flow so they don't forget. And then we'll wrap it up.
all right. Well, we'll see you then.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Super Steve. So, if you haven't heard, this was, of course, big news over the weekend. It seems like every weekend there's big news, right? So, in a big shakeup now, President Biden announcing that he's stepping aside and endorsing his Vice President Kamala Harris to run at the top of the ticket, but saying that he's vowing to finish his term. But still, so many questions about what comes next. The vice president's scheduled to speak a little bit later this morning. So here's Ezzy Castro with a recap of the latest.
President Biden dropping out of the presidential race, ending his bid for re-election just 4 months before the November vote. In a statement, the president said, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." Within minutes of his announcement, Florida Democrats started to weigh in.
I'm proud to have stood with him along this entire time, traveling the country to make sure he was reelected. And today, he made a very hard choice, and I respect his decision.
Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings said in part, "It has been shocking news to learn of President Biden's decision to end his campaign for re-election. We thank him for his service to our nation. As an American and a delegate to the Democratic National Convention, I am committed to democracy and helping select the best person to be the next president of the United States." Biden's decision comes weeks after his debate with former President Donald Trump, with many questioning his health.
Just if we look at that debate performance and we look at what had transpired after that, if the Democrats did nothing else, all the Republicans would have to do is between now and November, just play parts and clips of that debate. And there was really no way to respond to that.
All right. We'll keep you posted on what happens today right here and on clickorlando.com and coming up on WKMG News 6 at noon as well. So, like we mentioned, Trooper Steve headed out to Marion County taking a look at the year-round pilot program for school there. And Mark Lehman has more on how this is something that is being tested out in a couple of places in Central Florida.
We are really excited that we're going to have more wraparound.
Victoria Hunt is the principal at Wyoming Park Elementary. It's where things are much busier than every other campus in the district. That's because the school is testing year-round classes as part of a pilot program.
By bringing them back a little earlier, we don't have that type of learning loss.
That loss is called the summer slide, and the goal of this new schedule is to keep learning fresh in students' minds by shortening the extended break.
I think he hasn't had a chance to forget what he learned last year, so hopefully he'll be fresh and ready to learn on Monday.
Wyoming Park is joining Brevard County's Challenger 7 Elementary in the pilot program. Students have 180 days of classes, the same as every other school, but instead of 4 quarters, they're switching to a trimester schedule that's spread out over the year.
We still go the same amount of days, we just break it up and they have these small breaks.
So that is very exciting, and we'll be following all the developments with the pilot program for year-round school. Now we want to talk about protecting your hearing, which is something so precious and something that you know, once the damage is done, you can't regain it, but there are ways to protect yourself and ways to treat yourself if you are suffering from some loss there. So we have an expert in hearing care this morning. Amina Aljami is with us from Miracle Ear. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Bridgett.
Hearing loss is something that affects all ages and sometimes even at birth.
Yes, for sure. So we know that some people can be born with it. It could be hereditary, and we can develop it over the years. Some different ways that we can develop it is the noise exposures we're around and the different medications we actually take as well.
And something that we talk about a lot is those loud things like our music or maybe loud noises that we have to be around maybe for work. Maybe you work in a loud work environment, whether it's a factory or maybe even here in our newsroom. Some of us wear earpieces to communicate back and forth with producers. Some of us have to sit near scanners and listen to the scanner traffic of the emergency workers announcing different things and the sirens going off. So what should we do when we have to be around loud things?
I think the first thing would be is keeping it at a duration. So everything in moderation. The louder the volume, the shorter amount of time we want to spend in that area. And if we know that we're going to be around loud noises or even loud music, we can use earplugs or even custom earplugs to protect our ears for the future.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about that, the earplugs, you know, protect or muffle a little bit of the volume, when it comes to wearing earpieces or wearing like the earbuds to listen to, say, music or podcasts, are you seeing a lot more concern around those type of devices?
For sure. This year alone, I've seen more patients around the age of 18 to 55 starting to develop more of a hearing loss because of the noise exposure we're around on a daily basis. So just keeping everything in moderation and shortening the amount of time and volume that we're using those devices.
And so it's one of those things where once the damage is done, you can't repair the damage, right?
That is correct. Hearing loss is permanent and progressive. So we know that it is very time sensitive, that we want to get hearing help sooner than later.
And sometimes your ears hurt. You know that it's too loud. You feel that sensitivity. But why is it that maybe you get desensitized and don't realize that this is too loud, this is harmful? What is it that causes us to, for lack of a better pun, tune it out in terms of it being too loud?
We get used to it, just like anything. So we start it at a regular volume and then we're consistently using that device. So we're wanting more and more because we're overstimulating the ears. So over time, we're going to need more volume. So we want to try to keep it at a comfortable volume where other people are not able to hear your phone call or the media you're playing through your device.
I mean, because, you know, sometimes maybe someone will get in your car and they're like, oh, wow, you have that music up really loud, you know, or you get in later, you know, you get in the car later to go home and you turn it back on and the music's really loud and you don't realize, oh, wait, oh, I'm sensitive to this now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And typically we're not going to feel that until we've been in that situation for a while. We'll start getting that ringing or that buzzing in our ears. That's a warning sign that noise is too loud.
And so typically when it comes to, like, say, concerts or taking the kids out, like I'm going to take the kids to Monster Jam with the big monster trucks and, you know, it's in the Kia Center. It's going to be really loud. We're going to be inside an enclosed space. So what can we do when we're going to have the kids out with loud things like that?
We definitely want to get some noise canceling headphones or custom earplugs that we can actually make for you at Miracle Ear.
Oh, awesome. Now, when we talk about things to do in terms of getting the hearing loss or the hearing screening to see how we're doing, it happens in schools. But what about the rest of us? Like, when should we get a screening, or how do we know that we might need to get it checked?
Well, we want to seek prevention as soon as possible. Some early signs of a hearing loss would be trouble in a noisy environment, having to turn up the TV louder, asking people to repeat themselves more often. So at that point, we can go to miracle-ear.com and we can do a free online hearing screening. And if we don't pass that, then we can go into one of our local Miracle Ear stores for a free hearing evaluation. And we'll discuss your hearing loss and your hearing health.
Okay. And I know that recently over-the-counter hearing aids are more readily available, a little bit more affordable. How do you gauge, you know, if maybe that could be something you could start with and then maybe you might need more help?
Yeah, so just like kind of we do with our glasses, we can start off with that. But just like anything, we want to get a hearing healthcare professional to do a medical exam to see if we're suitable for those over-the-counters, because they're not going to replace prescriptive hearing aids.
And so I do know they can be more affordable, but what is the price range typically for hearing aid devices, and how do people afford that, or, you know, get that help they need if maybe it seems out of reach?
I mean, hearing aids are going to range from many different prices, $1,200 and up. But with Miracle Ear, we try to personalize everything to the patient's medical necessity as well as their budget. So if they fall into that range where they simply cannot afford a hearing aid, we do have a Miracle Ear Foundation that is the gift of sound.
Awesome. So the gift of sound. Well, this is awesome information. Is there anything else we should mention before we go?
Well, take care of our ears. We
Sure.
only get them once, and we know that it is permanent. So we want to just be cautious and keep in mind everything in moderation when it comes to our ears.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Miss Aljami, for joining us, a hearing care
Thank
expert
you.
from Miracle Ear. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, so we want to tell you about an interesting story this morning when it comes
If you're checking in at the window.
when it comes to an AI bartender. So here's Emily McLeod with more.
If you're checking in at the Wyndham Celebrations Resort, not only are you greeted by the front desk staff, you're also greeted by the first AI bartender in the United States.
Are you ready for a unique AI experience?
Why is this a good fit for the Wyndham Resort?
We're actually looking for the best experience always for our guests. With that said, our guests, when they want to relax. Our bar is pretty busy, so sometimes they are looking for a place to go and have a cocktail without having the whole interaction in the bar. But with this, it takes it to a different level.
Sarah, the AI bartender from Cecilia AI, is able to make up to 120 drinks per hour, and guests can pick from 10 cocktails and 2 mocktails. So if you're planning on ordering a drink from Sarah, the first thing you're going to want to do is get your cup of ice. Then you'll put it right here in the machine, verify that your cup of ice is there, and then you can pick from one of 10 cocktails or 2 mocktails. So let's go ahead and ask Sarah something she recommends to make. Hey Sarah, I like something fruity, but I don't drink alcohol. What can you recommend?
Hey there. How about a virgin punch? It's a lively blend of pineapple juice, orange juice, and grenadine.
Sarah can also check IDs, take payment, and tips, which ultimately goes to the resort's bartenders like Hazel Gura. A lot of people might think that Sarah is coming in and she's going to take jobs from people like you, and maybe the tips. How does that work?
Any tips that she make, they'll go to our team. So that's phenomenal. And then, no, we love to have her.
According to a study from the Pew Research Center from July 2023, among those surveyed who work in the hospitality and arts industries, 14% say the use of AI in the workplace will help more than hurt over the next 20 years. 29% say it will equally help and hurt. 17% say it will hurt more than help, and 40% say they aren't sure. Augustine Sosa is the assistant general manager for the resort. He says there isn't competition between the staff and Sarah.
Being a cooperation between our bartenders, giving the recipes to Sarah, teaching those to her, and at the same time, at the end of every interaction, Sarah asks, hey, we'd like to give a tip to our fellow bartenders, and those tips goes directly to the team.
If you're interested in checking out the first AI serving bartender, you can find her in the hotel lobby of the Wyndham Orlando Resort.
Hope you love it as much as I love making it.
In Osceola County, Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
I might go out there just to try that out. Looks pretty cool. Well, before we go, make sure if you're an insider, you sign up to get some of those Monster Jam tickets. We're giving away 5 family packs of tickets, so you can enter between now and July 30th to try to get a chance to win those tickets. But it's going to be a lot of fun out at the Kia Center first weekend in August. And, of course, protect your ears if you are going, just like we just learned with a Miracle Ear. So that's going to do it for us. Weather-wise with meteorologist Jonathan Kegis is up next, and Trooper Steve's on patrol at 8:30. I'll see you at noon. Take care.